Next on America's Day at the Races, Prompt put together his best performance yet at his last start. Can he back it up as the favorite in today's feature race from Belmont Park? He'll face, among others, veteran Royal Albert Hall. Winners off his first stakes triumph of his career in the Bernardini in his 41st career start. We'll also have continuing live coverage from Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky. Hall of Fame jockey Gary Stevens will be live on site. We'll check in with Gary in just a little bit. All that and much more coming up on this Sunday edition of America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today, and by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Another beautiful weekend afternoon here in Elmont, New York. And you have joined us just in time for the start of the Late Pick 4 here at Belmont. We'll also have races 8 and 9 out at Churchill Downs when we check in with Gary Stevens. Welcome. I'm Greg Wolf, joined by four-time Major League All-Star Paul LoDuca, New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling. And this feature race today worked out for the best, that a race came off the turf for Prompt, who ran huge when he switched surfaces. Now he comes off another big win on dirt.
He's not exactly cigar for Belmont, because Bill didn't decide to bring him back to the dirt. Though actually things have worked out incredibly for him. And frankly, he's a horse that showed some promise in the turf, but he's turned into a pretty darn good dirt horse.
Yeah, his last race was, I think, better than looked. He was really wrapped up late in that race, and I get it. A lot of people say it's a little bit one of those things where they're wrapped up. They're not going to get a lot out of him, but he had a lot left in the tank. He's going to be dangerous today. He's got one horse to beat, Zulu, though. And Zulu's not a slouch, the 4 in there.
We'll see if he can keep it going, back it up as the 8-5 morning line favorite. That is in race 8. We're up to race 6 right now. We'll set the stage for that in a moment. First, track conditions presented by Piranha Fly Spray, the preferred fly spray of Belmont Park. Piranha on, pests gone. So the 6th through 9th at Belmont Park as we take a look at our race schedule, brought to you by Windstar Farm, the farm that pays you back. We'll also have the 8th and 9th from Churchill Downs. They are sloppy, and that 9th was scheduled to be on the grass. They're off the turf there, so a couple of changes in that race, which we will get to in just a little bit. Let's set the stage for the first leg of this Late Pick 4. So we have a good crowd on hand here on the Sunday afternoon. Mile and a 16th coming up here in race 6. New York breds in an entry-level allowance 4-5 favorite. Minsky Moment came back from a long layoff, close to a year and a half, and ran huge on a sloppy racetrack, coming back for Chad Brown.
He did, but his best efforts have been on sloppy racetracks, and he's a horse, and I picked him on top, but he is a horse that has failed more often than not at a lot of short prices. Much different scenario today, Paul, on a fast track.
Yeah, he benefits a little bit. Right before we came on air, late scratch of Uncle Si right before the race. And Uncle Si was a horse that might be able to, like, at least put token pressure on him and the one who are your speeds in here. He is the one to beat, but, you know, Andy makes a great point, as in he ran a career best in his last effort. Off a long layoff, he could well bounce big time.
Let me ask you a question. Aren't they supposed to really put him in the game? I mean, 3-13, as you pointed out, is the speed on the inside. But I think with a horse like Minsky Moment, you don't want to make him have to get brave, you know? You want to have him forwardly placed.
Get signed up, started. You play this Pick 4 along with every other race that we offer by going to NYRA Bets. $200 new member bonus when you use that promo code LIVE at sign up. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Go to NYRABets.com. Yeah, with Minsky Moment, not just the fact that he ran so huge off the layoff and may bounce off that, both of his wins have come on sloppy racetracks.
Yes,
He's not going to get that this afternoon. 3-13, the one. There he is. Jose Ortiz on board the speedster inside for Kelly Breen.
Now, Jose Ortiz getting back on track with a good week after a slow start, and he's just going to put this one on the front end and hope for the best.
Dynamax Prime, I thought he was a big player in this race. He's 7-1 right now for Rob Atras.
Yeah, not getting bet at the window. And a horse that does like Belmont, I thought had a good setup last time on a sloppy racetrack. I'm sort of against today.
Blame the Thief, Luis Saez for Timothy Hills.
You know, he's got a couple races last year that would put him as a player in here. His recent form, though, a little questionable.
Bluegrass Cats Smile for Charlie Baker, Rajiv Mirage.
You know, this horse always sort of runs the same race. Doesn't love to win races, but a lot of seconds. Has won for 15 in the last couple of years, but use the horse underneath for tries.
Big favorite, 4-5, Minsky Moment. That comeback race at Aqueduct of the Slop was huge.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, let's be honest. The horse has got talent. If he can run to his last race, he's going to be a bear in here.
And Zonic outside for Tom Albertrani, 2 starts back. He won at Saratoga last summer.
Yeah, he was coming around. His return race not good, and he may be a little too pace dependent for this field.
Double-digit odds, 12-1 there on the 5-year-old son of Ghost Zapper, Zonic. And that is your field here, as we have close to $140,000 in our Pick 4 pool. Let's check in for the first time on today's show with Maggie Wolfendale. Get her thoughts here on this 6th race.
Thanks, Greg. And horses are on the track warming up for this New York bred. 2 other than, and we do see Minsky Moment coming back off that impressive victory over that sloppy sealed track back at Aqueduct. And now that he's second off of a layoff, I had my doubts though going back to that race. You know, he got a little hot and washy before, but physically he looked tremendous. Now, he hasn't gotten that hot and washy considering it's a lot warmer than it was that day. And I like him. He almost, this is a lofty comparison, but he kind of reminds me of a former New York bred that Chad trained in Zevo, who won a lot of stakes races. Just kind of has that look about him. Bigger, strapping bay horse. So I like what I'm seeing from him. We'll see how he negotiates the fast track. Coming back second off the bench. Now on the rail is number 1, 3-13. Well, as a speed horse should be, he was very sharp. He was on the muscle, on his toes, and he looks so healthy and so well turned out for trainer Kelly Breen. So I like what I'm seeing from him. I think he's the one that does get to control here from the inside with Jose Ortiz. Now, a horse who is a long shot in here, but I noticed a big difference in the demeanor of number 7, Zonic, who is second off of a long layoff. He's usually a horse that's very calm and very quiet, and I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but I just like to note changes in horses. He was really revved up in the paddock. He was double barreling, he was kicking, and just kind of almost breathing fire, to use that kind of metaphor. But I like that about him. I think that's a good sign. I like the fact that he's showing more energy. He's a long shot and definitely should be, but I just thought it was an interesting 180 from him as far as demeanor, Greg.
Maggie, thank you. So positive signs from Zonic, the long shot here on the outside for Tom Albertrani. He was starting to put things together, as Andy said, late last year. Back-to-back wins, including a victory at Saratoga to close out his 2018 campaign. We'll see if he can return to form here in his second start of the year. We're going to check in now in Louisville at Churchill Downs. We're about 15 minutes away from the 8th race on their card coming up. Let's take a quick look at the field. 6 furlong sprints in this allowance optional claiming race on the sloppy racetrack in Louisville. 5-2. Right now the favorite is the 5. Free cover. Let's check in with our Hall of Fame jockey, Gary Stevens.
Thanks, Greg. I'm just outside of the jockey's quarters right now, and we've had a couple of delays already today. We're under a severe weather thunderstorm warning until 9 p.m. tonight. The radar doesn't look real good right now, but the valets did just leave the jockey's room. They are saddling up for the 8th race. We've got that sloppy track, as you talked about. During one of the delays, they were trying to squeeze as much water out of the racetrack as they could. We are off the turf in the last race. So far, only 2 scratches in there. I'll update you more on that later on. Guys?
All right, Gary, thanks. So in a holding pattern back at Churchill Downs, what were your thoughts on that 8th race?
Well, I thought it was a tough race. You know, Destiny over Fate the 4 is the only one that really got scratched out of the race. So it kept the race intact. I thought the 2 could be dangerous because if you look at Lady of Luxury, she's got some good wet track form, and she's 15-1. So. All
right, let's take a look at your pick 4 back here at Belmont Park. So you got some coverage here in this first leg.
I do. I just don't trust Minsky's Moment, and I get the people that are going to single this horse by flatter. I get all that. 1-3-5-9. I think Prompt's going to be tough to beat. This could be very chalky, but if you beat Minsky Moment in here, it's not going to be chalky. And then in race number 9, I'm trying to get coverage. I think that's the race you got to get your price in there. I think Deputy Flag is a sneaky horse, the 2 in there. And I also like the 4, Bassman Dave, a tiny bit for Gary Siaka. So 7 is Heaven, had a brutal trip last time out, the 9 in there. Yeah. So that's a must use. So.
No firster?
Yeah, Chad.
No
yeah,
firster? The 7?
No, I didn't.
7.
Yeah, I didn't use a 7. Didn't have enough money, maybe. You know what I was thinking about Chad? Do you think Chad's sending out all his best turf horses now, or does it matter?
I think he's trying to win races.
Yeah, right.
That last race, I think, makes this pick 4 playable. It seems like it's wide open. There's a lot of ways to go in there. As we look at our analyst selections here for the first leg of the sequence, Maggie, Paul agree with The speedster inside. Andy going to stick with the horse who loved the slop.
I am 0 for about 3 weeks now, so I'm looking to get a chalk home. Listen, I agree. I don't love taking this horse to 3 to 5, but to be honest with you, I just can't make a strong enough case for anybody. And I know that the inside horse, and I respect him, he could win, but I just don't know if he's good enough. I don't know where else to go. Bluegrass Cat Smile, to me, the 4 is a bit of an overlay here. Why is he 6 to 1?
I just think that you're right, because I think Bluegrass Smile is the one that sits right behind the 1 in the 6 in here. The 4 gets the garden trip. Now, whether he's good enough, because he's 1 for 15 in the last 2 years, that's the issue. But the 1 should cut out the fractions, and I don't think Jose is going to let the 1 get too far away. And I would think it's going to be a 2-horse race. I hate to tell you, but I don't see anything but 1-6 or 6-1 here. I really don't.
I'm more 6-4. I'm not 3 to 13's biggest fan, to be honest. And I'll tell you one thing: Kelly Breen's barn. That's the best thing going for 3 to 13. They had a remarkable winter here. I would say almost every time they run a live horse, that horse runs at least to expectations. They really, he and his assistant do a terrific job.
Papa Shot disappointed, who beat him 3 back last time out, but he's getting a little older now. But
here's Chad Brown. So second after a layoff, winning the last start in dirt routes over the last 5 years. Conditions here for the 6 Minsky Moment. That's pretty formidable, 44%.
Yeah, right. That's actually an unbelievable
Minsky
stat.
Moment might bring the ROI down.
Winning, you know,
if he wins.
I think one of the toughest stats for trainers is winning next time out after their horse have won, because the horse is going to a new condition, and he's 30%. You know how hard that is? Crazy stat.
Yes, it's amazing. Minsky Moment's always had some ability. Clearly, he's been a bit of a head case. This is a pivotal race for him. He's got to show he can put together back-to-back races and do it on a dry track, because so far he has not.
The 6 Minsky Moment come back as a new horse. As a 5-year-old, can he back up that huge win on that sloppy racetrack at Aqueduct? We're going to find out. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of horse racing's Triple Crown for the call. Larry Collmus with the 6th from Belmont here on America's Day at the Races.
And here is the favorite Minsky Moment moving into the starting gate at odds of 3 to 5 as Zonik will be the last one to load. Eric Consell and Zonik stepping forward, and they're all in line. They're off. Minsky Moment out well. Blame the Thief, 3-2-13 from the inside. It's these 3 with the most early speed. Those 2 will take over as Minsky Moment will sit back 3rd early on. Bluegrass Cat Smile and Zonik are next, and Dynamax Prime trails the field. 3-2-13 and Blame the Thief. And they're head-and-head on the lead. Minsky Moment 2 lengths off of them. And Bluegrass Cat Smile comes through on the inside and now takes 3rd. Minsky Moment still well in control back there in 4th. Zonik is 5th and Dynamax Prime. 23.75 the opening quarter mile for 3-2-13, who is joined now by Bluegrass Cat Smile, who's made an early bid up to the outside of him. Blame the Thief is out there 3 deep, running along in 3rd, moving for the far turn. Minsky Moment is 4th and still about 3.5 lengths off the lead, just being nudged along to keep up with the top 3 at this point. Then Dynamax Prime and Zonik. 47.11 was the half as they round the far turn. 3-2-13, Bluegrass Cat Smile, Blame the Thief on the outside. And now Irad Ortiz is getting busier on Minsky Moment. They're still 4th and outside of Dynamax Prime, who's down toward the rail, who now takes over 4th. Minsky Moment has dropped back to 5th as Dynamax Prime comes 4 wide. And here on the far outside comes Zonik 2, and suddenly Minsky Moment's last. And they're into the stretch, and it is Dynamax Prime on the outside. 3:13 at the rail and Zonik in the middle. These 3 with Dynamax Prime in front. Manny Franco and Dynamax Prime have the lead. Zonik on the outside closing in these 2. It is Dynamax Prime to do it. And then it was Zonik 2nd, followed by 3-2-13 and Bluegrass Cat Smile.
Dynamax Prime with the win. That's 3 wins now, the last 4 starts. Rob Atras, Manny Franco.
He's had a really good trip in here most of the way. And it was really weird because the 1, Jose Ortiz, looked like he had a horse, and you could tell the 6 Minsky's moment was in trouble the whole way, and the 4 just had a good trip.
Irad was riding the favorite with a half mile or more to go, and he had nothing. We saw it up here, and you said right away. You could see the number 2 horse. Of course, you and I didn't like Dynamax Pride. He had nothing but a horse. Greg liked him more than we did. He angled out, and the horse Maggie liked the long shot. Zonik came running. It wasn't a particularly fast pace, but the race completely fell apart.
It did. It's crazy. Good call by you, Greg, because this horse was a big overlay. Going to play great for your pick 4 players. 5-2 to 7-1, and Zonic tried, but he turned him away easily.
Yeah, big number here, and not only the 7-1, but you beat a 4-5 favorite along the way as well. So Manny Franco on Dynamax Prime. This horse gets the 8th win of his career. And a 16-1 shot winds up second as well. How about that exacta? We're going to take a break in the action still ahead. If you wanted to experience the thrill of being an owner, Tom Durkin tells you how next.
Runhappy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Warfront, a leading sire on all surfaces and all fronts. His recent Grade 1 winners include Omaha Beach, Homesman, Fog of War, Lancaster Bomber, and European champion U.S. Navy flag, plus graded stakes winner War of Will, and these recent group and graded winners. Sire of the highest price yearling sold in North America in 2018, this son of Danzig continues to dominate both on the track and in the sales ring. Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
We are back on America's Day at the Races on MSG Plus. Good to have you with us. Our show brought to you in part by the champion sprinter Runhappy. Never lost in his career while sprinting. Did it all while racing medication-free. Now stands at Claiborne Farm for $25,000. 8th race at Churchill, sloppy racetrack. The 4 comes out, 14, 15, 16 were also eligible. 13, though, does get in, who wasn't also eligible. But looks like a tremendous betting race here.
I think it's a really interesting race. I'm surprised the 9, Pincay, isn't taking much money.
Yeah, Pincay lightly raced his second time out, won the Barrett's debutante in Southern California. Blinkers go on today for Peter Miller as we take a look at Gold Credit to kick off our post-parade. Big price on the inside, blinkers on.
Her best race was her debut, but she has tailed off since.
Lady of Luxury at 15-1 for Larry Jones.
Yeah, this horse should not be 15-1. Some good sloppy efforts, and Larry's horses have been firing so far this meet.
She's So Majestic for Chris Hartman.
Gets back on the right surface, obviously didn't like the turf, but all 3 of her dirt races are solid.
Brett Calhoun sends out Free Cover. Miguel Mena rides.
She's my top choice, cutting back in distance. A lot of people see her last sprint, she lost to Kofefi.
Into the south is at 6-1, Julian Leperoux, Ignacio Carreras.
She broke her maiden and then went into the matron at Saratoga, then went into the matron at Belmont. Her last race at Keeneland was not bad over a sloppy or at least muddy race course.
18-1 on this filly, who actually broke her maiden on the turf.
Yeah, her dirt races just seem a cut below these, but not totally impossible.
Jenna Miley, I believe, the 8s here. Corey Lannery, Brad Cox.
I can't believe this horse is 6-1. The pedigree's okay to like a wet surface, and I thought I had a major player in here.
Maiden win came at Penn National. Kim K, blinkers on, 7-1.
I'm surprised this horse is such a big price in here. Hasn't run since running in the Alcibiades, but she cuts back to a sprint where she ran okay in her second start.
Yeah, from a grade 1, big drop down here. Here's the 10. She's got it all. Dwayne Lucas had speed.
Yeah, and the one thing she does got is 2 wins, and her only 2 wins over a wet surface, but they were cheaper wins.
And they came in her last 2 starts as well. The 11, Steve Asmus and Ricardo Santana Jr., daughter of Overanalyze.
She's got to bounce back from her last race, but she ran behind a very good horse, Lyrical Lady and Brill, 2 races back.
Into Mystic, Tyler Bayes aboard for Jeff Mullins.
These are connections that go way back, and very dangerous connections here for Mullins and Tyler Bayes. This one for Chris Coleman and Brad King.
And War Ballad in from the also eligible list, broke her maiden at Indiana.
Yeah, she looks like she's overmatched against these.
And she is a price that would reflect that at 36-1. Getting close to post time here for the 8th from Churchill Downs. Let's head back to Louisville with Gary Stevens.
All right, guys, we've changed position here, and we're in a spot right on the other side of the paddock where the fillies come onto the racetrack, and there were 3 of them that really stood out to me. The favorite, Free Cover, she deserves to be the favorite. She's a good-looking filly, got a nice walk to her, and if you like roans or grays in the mud, that's what she is, a dark roan. And then the 9 filly, Peter Miller's filly, she looked really good, too. She looked the part, and she's been off, I know, and Paul talked about coming out of the Grade 1 Alcibiades into taking a big drop in class. She has been off for a long time, but she looks tight and right. And then the 10 filly, Wayne Lucas's filly, she's got it all. She's loved the mud in the past, and I know she's stepping up in class, but she's improved with her last 2 races and stepping from the 50 starters races up to today's class. It's a wide-open event, guys. Back to you.
All right, Gary, thank you. So 3 horses to keep our eyes on here. And a couple of them, because this is such a wide open race, are numbers. That 9 horse, Pincay, and Andy, you were surprised this horse is that price. The price has actually gone up, 8-1 now.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's 2-year-old form. I boxed 5.69 in this race in the exacta. I know it's 2-year-old form, but she ran fast enough as a 2-year-old with a little bit of natural improvement. I think she could be a player in here. I do agree with Paul, though. The 11. 11's a crazy price.
That's a
here,
crazy
Paul.
price because it's Steve Asmussen. The Oaklawn races have played. I understand Tyler was on this horse. Now he got Ricardo Santana. And the reason why is because Tyler has been riding for Jeff Mullins for years. That's why Ricardo Santana. But this nice guy's main rider on. Bo Genius on the bottom side, they usually like the mud. I think the 11's a great price.
You don't see his name in
Not
PPs
much
too often anymore, huh? It's a good turf sire.
Yeah. And I just think this race, you cannot. The 8's the horse to beat. I can't believe that price, but you can't take. You got to take a price. And there's so many fillies in here that can win this. You talk about this all the time. 3-year-old fillies, anything can happen.
Yeah, a lot of horses can win.
Rapid improvement, and it can come race to race, no doubt. So wide open 8th here at Churchill Downs. Let's go to Travis Stone with the call from Louisville.
We're Belmont, the last one. They're in the gate. And they're off. Free Cover from mid-pack, racing for the lead. She's got it all, is there. She's a majestic, flashing speed. Pincay comes on through. Into Mystic on the far outside, up to be 5th early. Into the South is running in 6th. Lady of Luxury is 7th. Gold Credit is 8th. Talbot is on the move from 9th. MGR Treasures back into 10th. And Emily is 11th. And at the back is War Ballad, 12th and last. Down the backstretch, she's so majestic with a half mile to go. In front of Free Cover, they're 1-2. She's got it all 3 wide on the far turn. Into Mystic, 4 wide and moving up. Pincay set to strike in behind, racing 5th with 3 furlongs to go. Gold Credit is advancing inside, up to be 6th and within 4 lengths of the lead. Lady of Luxury is going the wrong way. Into the South is wide on the track. Talbot is bottled up in behind horses. War Ballad comes wide for the stretch drive. Top of the lane, Into Mystic. Wide Trip and All's challenging Free Cover for the lead. They're head in head. Pincay pops outside from 3rd, trying to come on late. Into the South on the center of the track is coming on 2 by the 8th pole. Free Cover, something left for the final furlong. Opens up a length and a half. Into Mystic back into 2nd. Into the South on the outside, finishing well, but time has run out. Free Cover won. Free Cover, the winner. Into the South was 2nd. Into Mystic was 3rd, and Pincay 4th.
Free Cover, one of the fillies that Gary Stevens said looked the best on the track with the win. 5-6-12 finish.
I want a little love, too, here, Greg. I finally picked a winner. She actually got back to sprinting, was what she wants to do. She didn't want to go long, and all you have to do is look at her last sprint race. She finished 6 lengths behind Kofefi, and Kofefi went on to win by almost a pole in one of the fastest races of the year at Preakness in her next start.
She set the track record, right?
Yes.
Kofefi did. Yeah. I know it was a fast track, but that was unbelievable. Free Cover, yeah, this is a good pick by both of you. The bottom, when you see a horse like this, it just comes out of a mile and 16th race, and the jockey's looking around, you knew that she was home. Tell you what, the 6 into South really flew home nicely. It was only a filly that really made up any ground late. The 8 got a little unlucky up the rail, but no doubt about the winner.
And I didn't mean to slight you. Nice pick.
I know.
Back at Belmont, Dynamax Prime. 7-1 on a horse who was 7-2 morning line, but Minsky Moment took all the money in here, and not Minsky Moment's day.
Yeah, dead last.
Not at all. And this horse is going to blow things up a little bit. I mean, a wide open race. And yeah, I mean, you like this horse. Paul and I didn't, but he got it done. It's a funny race, the way it fell apart. It's funny how some races, even if the paces aren't that fast, the races are run in a very different manner.
No, you could tell when this horse wheeled out we were toast. The Bluegrass Cat, who was, by the way, second in the Kentucky Derby, to Thunder Gulch mare. Ascending Dreams. This one for Robert Bone. The crazy part about that, Robert Bone used to be Jeff Mullins' main client. We just saw a horse run for Jeff Mullins at Churchill Downs.
They were a potent West Coast duo.
They were big time at one time, yeah.
2-7-1 finish. Ooh. In the 6th, and look at this.
And
Kyoto was even money.
Don't forget, you got a scratch in race 5. If you happen to use that long shot to 3, you're alive for $1. So, because the 1 was your favorite, obviously, Kyoto.
Still a long way to go. Up next, the 7th race. This one is not easy. Mile and a 16th on the inner turf. 50,000 starter allowance. Mama D outside. Javier Castellano rides for Linda Rice, coming off a win for 50 maiden claiming at Gulfstream.
I've got it narrowed down to 1, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9. So I really got this one pretty much covered.
Oh, you missed. Look what I got. The 5. You missed the 5.
You got the 5 in there
yes.
too? No, I said 5. No, I got 1, 3, 4, 5. So many numbers you got confused, Paul.
It is. And this is a difficult race. And I know we keep saying that, but this is a tough race.
So good luck, everybody. We'll try and narrow it down when we come back. It was free cover. Churchill Downs, race 8. Well, prices when we return. Stay tuned.
Give it 900 and about 900,000. Thank you.
He struck me as a classic distance type horse. The way he moved, his efficiency of his stride.
It was a freakish victory, and it was one of the reasons that made Cupid a horse to really keep an eye on.
To come off a long break like Cupid did, it's almost impossible, and just goes to show you the quality of horse he is.
Good Samaritan, the last great son of Harlan's Holiday. A debut winner at Saratoga, followed by 14 consecutive graded stakes performances. A Grade 2 winner on dirt and turf.
Good Samaritan to the Breeders' Cup.
Good Samaritan has taken the lead and he's pulling away.
Out of the family of Sky Mesa, Bernstein, and Champion outstandingly. The last great son of Harlan's Holiday is only at WinStar Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle. The best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
So my name is Robbie Herzl. I'm the yearling manager here at Claiborne Farm. And we've got the first crop of Runhappies this year. Overall, I'm very, very pleased with them. So first we have a colt out of Rapid Repair. He's a really nice colt. Very happy with how he's come along as a yearling. So there was a lot of demand for the weanlings last year. They sold for over 6 times their stud fee, and we're really excited for the yearlings to come through the sales, and we're expecting big things from them.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on America's Day at the Races. Country House via disqualification. Bill Mott, now Kentucky Derby winning trainer. Meanwhile, in the 8th race, free cover for Brett Calhoun, getting the win. A daughter of Congrats with Miguel Mena aboard.
Yeah, but Holy Bull mare, Candy Be Dandy. Now 2 for 6 lifetime. That was the first time she's ever stepped on a wet surface, and she loved it. And a good job by Brett Calhoun, Miguel Mena. They've been a good team for a long time. So.
And this horse looked like a winner every step of the way. I mean, Mena had a solid hold on her.
No, he did.
Front.
There's that pick 3. Wow. I know this $2 one, but still $350 for 50 cents.
You hit it,
Not
Paul?
bad. No, I wish I did.
So do I. Wish one
wish
of us
I hit
did.
something.
Well, I don't really wish Greg did, but you and I.
It's free cover in the 8th from Churchill. Let's go to Gary Stevens.
Miguel, that looked like it was fun. This filly was just swimming through there. It looked like she loved it.
Yeah, she was doing so good coming into the race, and this wet track today, she came out of the gate rocking, and she was loving it. She was enjoying herself.
Yeah, it looks like they'll probably stick to sprinting her. They tried stretching her out last time. Do you think she'll get a little further than what she got today eventually?
Yeah, we actually been trying to get her a little, she don't like mud or dirt on her face. We were trying to get her clear, and today she took the lead. She was pretty happy.
All right, Miguel Mena, leading jockey here at Churchill Downs, coming with another win. Back to you guys.
Thank you, buddy.
Well, interesting question from Gary, because we know she can sprint. And they've tried to stretch her out a couple of times, and we'll see if they maybe try and do that again with her.
I think it would be a mistake based on the way she ran last time. She's a sprinter. Trainers always seem to think their horses want to go long. You ever notice that, Paul?
Yeah, and then blinkers off will help too.
Race 9, taking off the turf. At 5.5 furlongs here, it's a maiden special weight.
Out of 10, huh?
Even money on first wave with
First
the
time
surface
starter.
switch for Rusty Arnold, daughter of Warfront. Take the new face at a short price.
Bullet Jewel at Keeneland. Some good horses working in Keeneland. I get it, but the 6 is the horse way to beat in there. Now the 10's going to have to run. You get it, but
the 10's a big pedigree for turf. I mean, this is not a particular pedigree for dirt. You almost wonder if the early money reflects hoping the race on the turf.
Back here at Belmont, 7th race. Our paddock report is coming up right now. Let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
And this 7th race is a starter 50 for the fillies in here and mares going a mile to 16th, as we'll check in with some new faces to the New York circuit, including number 1, the 9-0, who broke her maiden last time out at Santa Anita. And she was fairly game, as the comment line reads. And I respect that effort. It's just, is she facing better here? You would be inclined to say yes, as looking at her here in the paddock, off of that bit of a layoff, she does look extremely fit. Now, they have her accompanied by the pony. That is something that Karen typically does. She hasn't done anything wrong. She's very calm, which I like to see. Is she the most impressive one in here? No, but she's okay. And going out for Kieran, well, he's looking for his 3rd winner on a row, so that should tell you how he's doing here on this card. Moving on to one of 2 Linda Rice horses. Number 4, Architect, will make her first start for the barn. And I think last time she was wired, don't get me wrong, but other than that, I thought she had a pretty good trip. I don't love her here. She's a bigger filly, which is fine, but very weak top line. She's kind of one of those awkward horses where she has those peaked hindquarters and a peaked spine to her, and she's fine, but I didn't love her last effort, and I don't love her here in the paddock either. I actually prefer Linda's other horse in number 9, Mama D. Yes, she got some fractions to close into, that's for sure. First off, the claim for Linda, but she's very athletic. She's extremely fit in here. She's nicely composed in the paddock. I like what I'm seeing from Mama D, at least of the 2 Linda horses. Greg?
And the public agrees with Maggie. They have made Mama D the favorite. And there's Javier Castellano, the man who will be aboard off that maiden victory at Gulfstream.
Yeah, and she is favored in the multis as well. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't love the race she won at Gulfstream. The favorites have been doing well today. I feel like this is the kind of race where you're supposed to box the 3 highest prices of the horses you think can win, because it's just too wide open for me.
Yeah,
I don't want a short price.
I know I put my. I think I put my mark. I bet the 1 or the 9. I can't remember. I do have like the 9 a little bit. I think
she can definitely win.
She can definitely win this race. But I think there's upside with the 8. I think that first race for the 8, the horse was a mess at the gate, got left, and then went around 2 turns last time at Slobby Racetrack and crushed. The 3, Call Me Kayla. I think the horse to beat, I think, is going to be your favorite probably when it's all said and done.
She's
maybe
a funny horse in here. I'm not sure what to do with her. This is a race 2 back. She finished ahead of Kyoto, who everybody on earth except for me knew was going to win today's 5th race.
For fun, too.
But it was a race that was dominated on the front end, and Kyoto was taken back even though she was the speed of the race. So she benefited from the dynamics of the race. A 60+ to 1 shot wired the field. Then last time they put her over her head. I don't know why she was 3 to 1 against the boys in her last start. What race do you handicap her off? Me, I handicap her off 3, 4, and 5 back, and they're good enough to make her a player. Is that fair?
Yeah, it is fair. Because I would think the 1 and the 2, if the 2 can take to the turf, they get out of there, right? I mean, and then she can fall into a nice trip.
5? Isn't the 5 supposed
the
to be
5.
poorly placed
Yeah, the 5 goes out
Even
there. What I'm saying
6.
is, I think she can get to the rail and gets a good trip in here.
That was a quick look. There's Irad Ortiz Jr. on the 5, Peaceful Feeling. Who, that...
What's wrong with her?
In that Honey Rider, or sorry, 2 back, I should say. Horse who was 4th in that race, Cassie's Dreamer, who was 3rd in the Spinaway and the Frizette and ran in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies.
And there's nothing wrong with the horses that beat her in there. The winner is an okay horse from Todd Pletcher. The 2nd place finisher, Lovely Louie, is actually pretty good. I think she ran fine. She had no chance in the stake last time, and she was setting the pace anyway. I think that Peaceful Feeling makes a lot of sense in here. I think a lot of them make some sense in here. And to me, in a race like this, I think is that open. I'm just going to look at the biggest 3 prices, who are probably the 4, 5, and 8, and box them in the exacta and hope to get lucky.
We brought this up the other day. So Peaceful Feeling, she's one of a few. She's a 3-year-old filly in this field. There's some 4-year-olds as well. Do you not mind that here?
I don't. I don't like rules. To me, if they're good enough, I can bet them.
Yeah.
Other people will disagree with me. But to me, I don't worry that much about it, especially as we get in the middle of the year. Maybe early in the year, but I don't know.
You didn't like it in the mentality race yesterday with Chelsea Cloisters.
I didn't think she wanted 6 furlongs, Chelsea Cloisters.
Okay. The 9-0 from the rail, coming off a win in Southern California, moving to the Kieran McLaughlin barn.
Her races in California are fine, and Kieran's got terrific numbers on trainer switches on the turf.
Todd Pletcher, Rapoli Stable, Don't Rush turf debut.
Yeah, after a nice win, going for maiden 50, I think the last 2 races, they're just saying, okay, let's try turf, and sort of this is just a long shot player, 21-1.
Call me Kayla Kendrick Carmouche, taking play at 7-2.
Yeah, and she's absolutely a player in here. I do think she's a little dressed up off her race 2 back, but she had no chance last time.
Architect had a couple of good runs at Tampa before that last out effort for Linda Rice.
The problem with Architect is, I get it's Linda Ross, I get it's Jose Ortiz, but horse was 90 cents on the dollar for maiden 25 and was life and death to break her maiden.
Jose on Architect, his brother Irad Ortiz Jr. on the 5, Peaceful Feeling right next door.
Gets very needed class relief in here and makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, comes out of a stakes race at Gulfstream. Here is Malarkey, 2nd time on the turf. AC Avila.
Yeah, AC Avila, California trainer, been out here for a while now and doesn't have that many anymore. She's never been over the turf course for a long time. It was a long time ago. I think it might have been her first career start, so we'll see what happens today.
Should be pressing the pace. The 7, Danielle's Pride, David Donk, Manny Franco.
I thought she got in a race last time with a wicked pace and just picked up pieces. I'm surprised she's taking money.
Brad Cox shifts Zandora back to grass off a big maiden claiming win.
He's got monster numbers, too. He's 50%. He's also 26% on this move from dirt to turf. I would not dismiss the 8.
And even lower price now on the favorite. Mama D down to 5-2, the other Linda Rice runner.
Her last race was okay. It wasn't a particularly stellar field. The way she's getting bet, it makes me feel like somebody smarter than me likes her, but I don't see her as a heavy favorite in this field.
For more on this 7th here from Belmont Park, let's go downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
Here with trainer Rob Falcone, who will send out number 5 in here, Peaceful Feeling. And Rob, let's go back 2 starts. It looked as though she was in position, and then she just kind of came up a little bit short. And then you applied blinkers for her next start, which was an ambitious spot.
Yeah, it certainly was. We figured we'd take a shot. 2 races back when she ran, Johnny came back and said she's still figuring out a little bit, he thinks so, but she kept running on and came back fine out of that race. And I threw blinkers on in the morning, and you know she was pretty aggressive with them. So we took a shot in the stake, putting them on, and that didn't turn out the way that we planned it. But they're coming back off now, and she's training real good.
Now, do you think she will be forwardly placed, or are you looking for Irad just to have her off of it?
We're gonna. Plan is just to sit right off it. Hopefully she relaxes from, and it looks like a couple speed horses in there, so hopefully, you know, he gets 2nd or 3rd right off and we get a good trip.
Rob, is there any chance that the Gulfstream turf course is a lot different than the turf course here? Is there any chance that, from what she's shown you, that she would like it more here?
Yeah, I think she'll like it more here. I think even when she ran first time out, I don't really think she likes a softer kind of ground. And in the stake too, it was raining the night before, and it still was a little bit of give in it. So I think she'll run better here, and we got a nice day, so hopefully it's nice and firm for her.
Certainly feels like summer out here this time around. Well, Rob, best of luck here.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see a Peaceful Feeling if she likes the feeling of not having blinkers on this time, Greg.
That young man started training at the age of just 20 years old. He worked under Dominic Schettino and actually was the original trainer of Mind Your Biscuits, who gave him his first graded stakes win.
That's pretty crazy, right?
That was in the Amsterdam at Saratoga back in 2016. We'll see if his Peaceful Feeling 3-year-old filly, daughter of Warfront, can earn him the victory here in race number 7 at Belmont. Wide open 7th race here in New York. We'll be back. You're watching America's Day at the Races on MSG+.
An undefeated graded stakes winner on the track, Algorithms was the nation's #1 sire of 2-year-olds in 2017 by percentage of winners. His top runners include Rich Mommy, winner of the Grade 3 Sugar Swirl, multiple stakes winner and graded stakes performer Recruiting Ready, stakes winner and graded stakes performer Vanish, and recent stakes winners Taylor Spirit and Tracy Racing. In the ring, his 2-year-olds have brought prices up to $300,000. Algorithms, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Our Summer Cruise is here at Spruce Lane Farm, and he's been a really intelligent horse since he got on the farm.
He's just got great balance and presence. He's got a really good mind, and he does everything that we like to do so far. The plans with this colt are probably to take him to Saratoga or to Keeneland Book 1 or 2. He fits those. We paid $250,000 for him, so he was an expensive horse, but that's where he belongs.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
We're back on America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. Getting set for race 7. Coming up here in Elmont, New York. We are on the turf here, the inner turf, 50,000 starter allowance, and 1 1/16 on Memorial Day weekend. Of course, we're going to have live coverage tomorrow as well on Memorial Day Monday. So I hope you join us again tomorrow.
I'm excited for that card tomorrow.
Very good card.
Very good card.
Love celebrating the New York Breds. I mean, they really put on a good show, and 2 races we'll be showing the Mike Lee and the commentator, are sensational races.
The 9-0 we're taking a look at here. So inside post, Jose Lezcano for Kieran McLaughlin had the maiden win out on the West Coast when this filly used to be with Dan Blacker.
Yeah, and the maiden 50s are not great on the West Coast, but she qualifies here for the starter allowance. I don't know about 5 to 1. I think there's other horses to go to in here.
I listen, right now, looking at the prices, I'd be boxing some combination of the 4 and 8 with the 1 and 5. I don't know.
Yeah, the more I look at this, the prices on the board are ridiculous. The 5 and the 8 are the horses to bet on the prices alone. I can't believe the 8's 9 to 1.
So 5 to 2 favorite. Mama D for Linda Rice. She's got 2 in this race. She also has the 4 Architect, who's at 9 to 1. But Mama D from post 9, the favorite with Javier Castellano, coming in off a win last out as well. Let's send it upstairs for the call to the voice of horse racing's Triple Crown, Larry Collmus.
Last couple to move into line here. Next up will be Zandora, who's been a bit reluctant to step forward. Assistant starters getting Zandora up to her position in stall 8. It looks like she's in there now, so that'll leave just Mama D to complete the line. And she steps forward to the outside stall. 3 to 1 right now on Call Me Kayla, just a slight favorite. They're all in line. They're off. A good beginning for the 9-0. Call Me Kayla came out well right to the outside of her. It's these two out to the front from Zandora. Break of another 3 lengths more back to Malarkey, who's 4th as they race toward the backstretch. And then it's Don't Rush. Mama D to the outside. Peaceful Feeling, slow to start. Comes through an opening on the inside of Danielle's Pride and Architect at the back of the pack. So on to the backstretch, and the leader is Call Me Kayla, who ran a 23.01 quarter. On top, 3/4 of a length. Zandora second on the outside. The 9-0 is third. Malarkey follows in 4th, 4.5 lengths from the front, with Don't Rush on the inside. Break of another 2 to Mama D. Peaceful Feeling is down toward the rail. In behind them are Danielle's Pride and Architect, who's 10 lengths from the top. So they continue their run up the backstretch and move for the far turn. Call Me Kayla and Kendra Carmouche a length in front of Zandora. 47.53 was the half. The 9-0 and Jose Lezcano are on the rail, running along in 3rd as they round the far turn. Malarkey follows in 4th on the outside. Peaceful Feeling has moved up a couple of spots and is now 5th. On the rail is Don't Rush. Danielle's Pride goes up 3 wide. Architect is next, and Mama D trails the field. It's been Call Me Kayla all the way so far. 3/4 in 111.37. And Zandora's second on the outside, trying to close in. The 9-0 is in behind those two, needs a way out in 3rd. And farther out comes Malarkey in 4th. Peaceful Feeling trying to close down the center. But it's still Call Me Kayla. Call Me Kayla with something left in the tank here. Gonna go all the way. Call Me Kayla to win it over the 9-0. It's tight there for third between Don't Rush on the inside of Zandora.
Call Me Kayla goes off as the favorite at post time. Kendrick Carmouche, Mike Maker.
It's they knew Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, like, you got to take the initiative the way these turf courses are playing right now. It's hot out, and if you cannot launch from too far back, and Kendrick Carmouche took the initiative, went to the front end. Dylan Davis tried. He had nothing with Zandora. And you can say what you want about these other. The 4 got butchered, by the way. He had a butchered trip.
This was not Jose Ortiz's best ride.
No, but the thing is Kendrick is playing Catch Me and You Can. That's why he's been winning a lot of these turf races of late, Andy.
Yep, I agree. Well, that's why he wins races in general. You've got a room full of riders that just want to snatch and grab, and Kendrick is not one of them.
Yeah.
Kendrick says, I'm going to the front. You want to play? I'm going. This is my hand.
It was a boat race.
It seems to work all the time with him. Listen, this is not an impossible horse. It's one of the worst that can win the race. 5-2. Not for me, but she is definitely a player in this race, and Kendrick proved boss by taking her to the front. And it just didn't matter after there. I do think it's worth watching the trip that Architect got, because she really did not get a good ride.
3-1, either the 2 or 8 for third. It's a photo for show. We'll make that official when we come back. Some ominous skies in Louisville under those iconic twin spires at Churchill Downs. The 9th race been taken off the turf, and we had a first-timer who was an even money favorite a while ago when we last checked in. That was the 10 first wave. Right now, even money favorite, the one we probably thought should be the 6 Vomba, as we head to Gary Stevens.
Rusty, first-time starter here, and by Warfront, they come from off the turf, and what are your thoughts on it?
We prefer to be on the grass, but so many of the Warfronts this year have run well on the dirt. We know which one, so we decided we'd get that question out of the way right today. We went ahead and left her in.
Did you guys get a chance to get her over here in school? Because she acts like she's got some brains. I mean, she was taking things in, but very relaxed, very focused in here.
Yeah, she's real smart. She did not get over here to school. We usually do, but we took a shot with her, and she was great.
Another gray in the mud, guys. Back to you.
For Rusty Arnold making her debut, as you heard, a daughter of Warfront. We'll see how she does coming up. In the 9th, we'll also hear about Tacitus, the Wood Memorial winner, back to work this morning. We'll talk about it next.
Runhappy was the fastest 3-year-old sprinter of his generation.
Runhappy is stamping his horses. And they all got great necks, great hind legs. They all got a good walk, and this colt moves very, very well. Very smart. He hasn't turned a hair since we had him. First day we turned him out, he was very, very gentle in his paddock and did everything right. He's got an exceptional pedigree.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
The Kentucky Derby is a race that we all want to capture. But what he did in the Florida Derby, that got me green.
But inside the 16th pole, the 2017 Florida Derby to Todd Pletcher, and always dreaming they won it by 4 in the end.
Anytime you ever would go to see him in his breezes or in his races, you knew that he was the real deal. You really would get excited about what he was going to do for the future. I'm Jacob West, and this season, I'm always dreaming.
Coming on strong. Coming home.
Minute to stardom leaves them all behind with an impressive-looking run.
Coming on.
Testing 1-2 is all alone. She comes to the 16th pole, and this one is all over but the crying. At the 16th pole, this is all Rockin' Sunday Mash.
My love for you. Coming on strong.
This graded stakes winner and multiple Grade 1 performer by Tappet has become one of the nation's leading sires of 2-year-olds. Ranked number 1 in his crop by number of winners, he sired 11 stakes horses in 2017, including graded stakes winners Wild Shot and Oklahoma Derby winner Untrapped. At the sales, his yearlings have sold up to $480,000. Trap Shot, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on America's Day at the Races, the greatest. And what a center that is, the Muhammad Ali Center, award-winning museum dedicated to the life and legacy of one of the greatest champions in the history of sports.
Agreed.
9th at Churchill. It is coming up shortly, 4-5 now on Vamba. For Al Stahl, Julian Leproux will be aboard. Let's check in again with Gary Stevens.
All right, guys. Yeah, the obvious one is the favorite there. I'm going to throw one at you that's not so obvious. Number 8 horse here, Ruby's Memory for Billy Gowan. Tyler Bay's aboard, another first-time starter. Billy's 4 for 8 on the year, and he's got a way of winning with first-time starters. She was 15-1 on the morning line and immediately opened up at 6-1 and drifted back up. She's back at 6-1 right now, but my 2 picks are going to be the 8 and the 10. Back to you guys.
All right, so Ruby's Memory, 6-1 right now. Yeah, and that's Billy Gowan from Limited Starters, doing pretty well right now.
Well, it's a $3,000 year. Actually, is this a $3,000 yearling purchase? Paul and I could have bought this horse, actually. Maybe they're lucky the race got rained off the turf because she really doesn't have any turf pedigree.
No, she doesn't. The thing about Vamba is you look at 2 back, she lost to Woe Nelly, who we saw yesterday ran a bang-up race.
She's a very low. I hate to take 4 to 5 shots, but
yeah,
she probably should be 2 to 5 in here.
No, she probably could. I tell you what, the four being a scratch was big. You know, the other horse at the first time started the 5. I haven't seen Cobra King in a while on the bottom side.
Yeah.
But yes, it's true. They usually like the wet surface, and that horse is not actually getting dismissed.
It's all turf pedigree on the dam side, and then you've got Yes It's True in the sire. I'm not sure why you breed a turf family to Yes It's True, but we'll see. I mean, it's first-time star as a guess, but in general, enter for the turf. They're not likely to run, but doesn't mean they can't. Doesn't mean they won't.
The 8 and the 10 are getting, the 10's getting a lot of money thrown at them, and so is the 8.
The truth is that Vamba has burned some money, but she has never been a favorite, even though she's been shortish prices. But she's speed. It's 5.5 furlongs in the slop today.
And with that pedigree, right, expect to move up on an off track, don't you think?
Supposed to have no problem handling a wet track, if not moving up on it, absolutely. And the kind of horses that just boss fields like this, I mean, I don't want to just, we're not looking to tell you that we love 4 to 5 shots, but I don't want to bet against this horse.
No,
I'll
because
put it that way.
The issue is that you know she's fast. She's 21-1. The 10 horse and the 8 are first-time starters. I doubt they're going to be clicking 21-1.
Well, an important thing to note about that 21-1, just to put it in perspective, there's a very long run-up because of the way the Churchill Downs track is constructed. They have to get behind the turn. So there's a long run-up, so you will see very quick first fractions at 6 furlongs there.
It's going to be interesting to see what first wave the 10 does, because there's some flashy morning drills in a few of them from the first time of the Daughter of Warfront, including that bullet drill at Keeneland coming in.
1:63, and you're right. 47 breezing. Prairie Meadows, excuse me, Paul Meadows to here was training in Florida. Probably couldn't get any races there and was getting ready for here. I don't think they wanted to be on the turf, Rusty, or wanted to be on the sloppy racetrack, but they're betting her like she likes it.
If nothing else, he gets a race into her and he leaves her in, and Rusty's been having on a good run.
Well, here's the one that Gary thought was intriguing this first timer, being a little stubborn here with Tyler Bayes aboard, Ruby's Memory, by sire who's become hot again out of nowhere.
Here's the deal. That I know the horse only costs $3,000. Billy Gowan owns the horse. So to me, why would he stick this horse into maiden special weight if she wasn't live? Because I think he could have stuck her in as a 4-year-old. They paid $3,000. He could have put her in for 30 or 40, and nobody would have taken her. So that maybe it's a sign of confidence that she's in for maiden special weight.
Maybe he owns her and likes her more than he should.
True.
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
But you know, to be fair, he's running her in the dirt, and he wanted to run her in the turf.
Here we go. 9th from Churchill. The 6, Vamba, squarely the one to beat. Probably catch as well on the front end. Here's Travis Stone.
And they're off. Stutter step start for Ruby's Memory. Vamba broke alertly, but here comes Russian Girl rushing to the lead. Russian Girl down inside to put a nose in front. Vamba's running in second. Seas comes away third. First wave outside. Fourth, Freedom Passage. Fifth and down inside for the run of the far turn. Rebecca's Truth comes away in sixth. Headlining is seventh. And Ruby's Memory after that slow start is last. Onto the far turn. Vamba on the outside takes charge with 3 furlongs to go. Russian Girl's back into second. First wave is winding up in the outside from third. Now second and coming after Vamba. Quarters on the board, 22 and 3. Freedom Passage comes on to be third. Headlining is picking it up from far back up to be fifth now at about 6 lengths to make up. They're off the turn. Vamba's in front by 2. First wave fully extended back in second. Freedom Passage wanders inside third. There's 1 furlong left. It's Vamba now clear by 3.5, now clear by 4. First Wave is trying hard, but is second with 100 yards to go, and it will be Vamba. Vamba rambles home to win it by 3. First Wave second, Freedom Passage third, Rebecca's Truth in fourth, headlining fifth.
Well, with a surface switch, it looked very much like it was Vamba's race to lose, and she does not disappoint. 6-10-3 finish. Firster runs very well here.
I agree. You know, Rusty Arnold's horse First Wave ran just fine in here and probably just better when she goes to the right surface. Vamba found herself off the turf in a very, very good spot.
Yeah, she did. And good job by Julian just to lay off a big long shot who went to the front end of the 2 and just produces her at the right time. And Freedom Passage, she might stay on the dirt. Her one dirt race last time, she had some issues, but she ran an okay little third.
1-2 in the end. Got hammered late.
Paul and I both picked her. I just want to give us a little bit of credit for that. Getting that 1-2 shot. Got that 1-2 shot home.
3 to 5 shots.
Nobody smarter than us.
Yeah.
Back at Belmont, call Michaela, Kendrick Carmouche. Surprise, surprise, aggressive, and it pays off.
Yeah.
It does. Blinkers went on 4 starts to go, now 3 starts to go. And yeah, Philly by Quality Road at an Empire Maker mare. Now 2 for 7 lifetime. And he won the race by being aggressive. That's just the bottom line. It was sort of a merry-go-round race.
Photo for third, by the way, and it goes to the 2. Don't rush, first time on the turf for Todd Pletcher.
Yeah, Mama D, your favorite. Dead last in there. Disappointing.
Oof.
Yeah.
Actually, Linda's, both her horses
He was
run
8th and 9th, but Architect had an excuse.
Yeah, an excuse, yeah.
A big one.
Yeah.
Call Michaela's second win in 7 career starts. 4-year-old filly by Quality Road out of the Empire Maker mare. Lady Michaela, owned by 3 Diamonds Farm. And a terrific meet for Kendrick Carmouche, continues with another win here.
It really does. And there's your late pick 5 follow along. It started with Kyoto. Again, if you had the 3 in there, it was a late scratch. But Dynamite Prime is going to be the horse that, how does that horse play? 5-2 on the morning line to 7-1. I think it's going to play pretty big.
8th race, mile and an 1/8, an allowance optional claiming field, and Prompt ran huge last time out. Since being switched to dirt, sort of by accident with a race that came off the turf, both his wins have come on that surface now.
He's gotten a lot better. I will give him that. It was very good last time out. He was under wraps, but Zulu is a real horse. No,
Sounds
Andy?
like you like Zulu here.
I like Prompt.
He's okay. I don't disagree.
I
think Zulu, I agree with you, though. I agree Zulu is his biggest competition.
Yeah.
Prompt looking to go back-to-back for Hall of Fame trainer and Kentucky Derby winning trainer Bill Mott. Junior Alvarado will be aboard. Can Prompt win the feature? We'll find out next.
Kentucky Derby winner Orb. On the track, his runners have scored on both dirt and turf, including multiple stakes winner Autumn Warrior, stakes performers Scrapper and Malocchio, and Sipacan Harbor, winner of the Grade 1 Spinaway Stakes at Saratoga. In the sales ring, his 2-year-olds have fetched prices up to $1.25 million and multiple yearlings up to $1 million. Classic winner, classic pedigree, or standing at Claiborne Farm.
Runhappy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
You're watching America's Day at the Races on MSG Plus, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing, the go-to site covering the sport and lifestyle. Visit americasbestracing.net today. You can get involved in our show each and every day without risking any of your own money. Go to NYRA.com/showdown, and you're competing for real prizes and bragging rights as well. I played this afternoon. I got involved.
Are you on the leaderboard? We'll figure that out later.
We'll see later, hopefully, but you can play this each and every day.
Okay.
And if you're new to handicapping, kind of get involved that way without risking any of your own money. Good way to get started, and again, competing for real prizes. Back at Churchill Downs, Vamba breaks through, gets her first win on this sloppy racetrack at Churchill Downs on a race taken off the turf.
Yeah, Richie Valens was not aboard La Vamba. Julian Lamperouin was, but Albert Stahl, this is his daughter, Candy Rider, Stormcat Mary, and yeah, I love the sloppy racetrack. I won't be bettering her next time, though.
You can call him Al.
Lou Diamond Phillips? Or Al Stahl, oh.
Or Lou Diamond Phillips.
Yeah.
Speaking of Al, Gary Stevens with Al Stahl.
Al, very impressive win. Second off the layoffs. Got hooked up with the speed duel, fast pace last time, but man, she was impressive today.
Yeah, things went our way. I mean, it was a turf race, and it didn't hurt my feelings when the rain came, and it scratched down to, you know, an 8-horse field, and it was the right group, and she's a fresh speed horse, 100% speed, and she caught the right group. Maybe she can win another one as we go along.
Now, would you keep her on the dirt, or would you be willing to still try her on the turf?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never worked her on the grass. I just put her on the grass just because I thought she might like it, you know, pedigree-wise. So I'm not sure. We'll try one more time before we leave here. I can tell you that.
Al, thank you very much,
right,
and enjoy the win.
You
too. Guys, back to you.
Again, thanks for joining us today. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, we might get to see Vomba again coming up at this spring meet at Churchill Downs. So we'll see which surface Al Stahl decides to stick with as we look at the field for the 8th race. Our feature coming up, just a 5-horse group, Prompt and Zulu, both co-favorites at 8-5 right now. Let's check downstairs for a paddock report and go to Maggie Wolfendale.
And those are the 2 horses I'll talk about here, as we'll begin with number 3, Prompt, off the back of an impressive win. It was impressive visually as well for trainer Bill Mott. And he's impressive here in the paddock. He's just drop-dead gorgeous. I mean, he's everything I look for in a horse. Big, scopy, well-balanced, well-muscled, a professional, and nicely on the bridle. He ticks every box for me. And he looks like the class of the field here physically as well. As we'll move on to number 4, Zulu. You know, this race, the one thing it's lacking here on paper, at least from my perspective, and maybe the 2 Turco Bravo does go and they're aggressive with him. That's worked out well. But Zulu is a horse that I know he wasn't near the lead, going a mile and 3/16 last time, but I'm wondering if that was by design and it was a plan that backfired on them. He's really fired up here in the paddock, as we saw our colleague Chad Summers saddling for trainer Jorge Navarro. And maybe he is one that's bad to saddle, but I mean, talk about being on the muscle and very keen here. He is exactly that. And he's a horse that physically doesn't necessarily look as though a 1 1/8 is to his liking. I mean, look, you go 3 starts back and he was 3rd going 6, and before that he won going 7. He looks like a horse that wants to go a little bit shorter. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm wondering what they decide to do with him here with Irad aboard. He looks good. We'll see how he negotiates the mile and an 8th here this time around, as he's shown he can be effective at it, but he's dealing with some tough customers as well, Greg.
Dealing with a horse on the rise as well in Prompt, who seems like he's starting to come into his own now that he's been moved to the dirt, coming off that big victory at Aqueduct. Form doesn't always shift from Aqueduct to Belmont, though, does it?
I don't know. I don't worry. Be honest with you, once again, like the age thing, I don't ever think about that. I mean, if you have a horse that has shown a real dislike for a surface, but to me it's very rare, but that's just me.
8-5, he is favored in both of his wins. He's been very impressive. So he's won 2 of his last 4. One of those was on a sloppy track that he did not win.
He actually ran well in the sloppy track, though, to be honest. I mean, Mr. Dougie Fresh looked like a stake horse at that point for Jason Service. That was a race dominated towards the front end. I thought he ran fine to finish 3rd in that race closing. To be honest, I don't think that race was really any worse than some of the others he's been running. I just think he's been in very good form in the dirt. He's always had ability, this horse. And it just turned out that dirt was the surface for him, even though he'd run sporadically okay on the dirt, on the turf.
That was an impressive win there, but now he's facing a little tougher group. I get it with Zulu and Turco Bravo because there's not a lot of pace in here. I would think the 2's the horse that goes to the front end.
How convinced are you that Zulu wants 9 furlongs?
That's another thing.
I think that Prompt really wants the distance more, and frankly, so does Royal Albert Hall. Not that I love his chances, but he does.
Zulu, yeah, in 3 tries, the 4-horse yet to win at this distance. As you look at Manny Franco,
she hasn't been awful though. I mean, or he hasn't been awful. You know, he does have a good 2nd and good 3rd. And he got left in the one time he did go a 1 1/8.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what, it's not sure what to do with Zulu off his last race, because his last race was abysmal. But maybe it was just an odd situation. I don't know. And he did have a very good trip when he won 2 back, but he does have the second best races, I think, of anybody here. And the problem with Royal Albert Hall, and, it's funny, Paul, you touched on it when we covered his last race back at Aqueduct. It's not a winning type. Now, when he won last time, Royal Albert Hall, he was in Robert Ross's barn, was firing on all cylinders. On the other hand, maybe Rod's heating up again. We saw a nice win from him in today's 6th race.
This horse has won 3 of 41 career starts.
Was a hanger in California. I mean, it really was. But on dirt, been a little bit different. He really swept past that field last time. I know, way weaker field, but it was pretty impressive.
All right, let's get a look at the field here. We start things off with G-Zap and the man who just won the last race, Kendrick Carmouche, aboard for David Canizzo.
He's the rank outsider. He'd need a lot of pace and the race to completely fall apart. But would he be even good enough if that was the case?
13-1 on the board. Here's the 2 Turco Bravo. His U.S. debut, it actually came back in 2014.
Yeah, he's actually almost got 100 buyer, got 99 buyer on his resume, and he's got 860,000 in the bank. He's going to be the one to catch, I would think, in here.
He's been around for a while, the 10-year-old. Prompt, here's the one to beat. He's 8-5.
Yeah, I mean, he's a logical player. He should be in a stalking position outside of Turco Bravo, and his recent forms is very good.
Another veteran. We'll skip ahead to the 5 here, the 7-year-old Royal Albert Hall, coming off his best victory of his career.
Yeah, he's going to have to do it again for me, but he's been in good form. He ran very well 2 back first time for Rob Atras.
And Zulu, Irad Ortiz Jr., rides for Jorge Navarro. 2 back won the Old Hickory at Gulfstream.
Yeah, he's been a lot better since they added blinkers about 5 or 6 starts ago. And he's actually got a little bit more tactical speed than you think, so he'll be closer up.
So compact field here in this 8th at Belmont. And if Prompt can run back to what he did at Aqueduct in that most recent effort, he's going to be very tough to deny here.
I would think so. I mean, I get it. The 2 goes to the front end, maybe, but I just think they're going to be very, very compact. And when you get to, when you get to these compact fields, you really don't see front runner stretch him out. And I don't see Castellano stretching this field out. So now it's going to turn into a kick home, and if that turns into a kick home, Prompt's got the best kick.
Let's head downstairs to Maggie for more.
Thanks, guys, and joined by the trainer of number 5, Royal Albert Hall. That's Rob Atras. But, Rob, let's get back to today's 6th race. You won with Dynamax Prime, a horse that's gone 2 for 2. Seems to be really doing well in your barn.
Yeah, he's been doing really good, actually. I got to really thank the owner, Bob Bowen, for sending me the horse, and Claudio Gonzalez. They sent the horse over, and he was in real good shape, and we didn't really have to do much with him, to be honest. He just made me look good twice now. So
that's always a good feeling. As Royal Albert Hall, he made you look good too, as he gave you your first stakes victory going back to Aqueduct this winter in the Bernardini. Now he's coming back off a little bit of a layoff. Rob, talk about him training up to this effort here, and how do you think the race shapes up for him?
Well, we've had a few hiccups with him, nothing real serious. I expect him to run well. I think the distance is really going to suit him. Last race, Junior did a really good job with him. He's a little too sharp. He put him on the rail and settled him down. And I'm not, 100% sure that he really wants to go that far. I think he just, he handled the distance a little better than the other horses that day, and the race really set up for him. So I really think this is a great distance for him. My only real concern is there's not a ton of pace in this race, so we may have to sit closer than we really want to. But, we got Manny on, so, he's going to ride good for us.
Absolutely. Well, Rob, wishing you the best of luck. Hopefully get another winner on this card.
Thanks, Maggie.
All right. Rob told me he was nervous to do this. He did it perfectly fine, right, Greg?
Look at him smiling behind her. I don't know. I think it's interesting. Sometimes 41 starts, only won 3 times. But, his last few starts, he's been right there as well. So maybe just starting to find something with this horse.
His
and
race
he's in sharp form.
2 back was exceptional. His race last time, he kind of picked up pieces with a very good trip. But his race 2 back, Expert was in tremendous form. I think he reeled off 4 straight wins before his 2nd place finish the other day. And truthfully, Royal Albert Hall probably ran the better race. And if Manny Franco had been able to get him to the outside in that race, he likely would have won. So he's been good. The question with Rob is, Rob was winning at unbelievable clip, basically a 50% clip or even more when he started out at Aqueduct. He has cooled down, not surprisingly, but he's still winning and his barn is still doing well. The question is, was this horse sort of part of that streak? But I don't discount his chances in here, and he'll appreciate the distance.
He's an old Doug O'Neill horse that they brought over from Europe that they thought was the real deal, and he just could not win. Now, he's taken the blinkers off of him after 41 starts with blinkers. And I don't know if that's made the difference or not, but he's completely different. And I've never seen him sweep by a field because he's a hanger. He is a hanger. I know this horse personally. I knew the people that owned the horse when Doug O'Neill had him. His wins were a little bit phony, but that last win wasn't phony. And maybe it's because the blinkers came off.
Yeah, that happened. That equipment changed the last 2 starts, ran second in the slop, and then got that win in the Bernardini. Of course, we're working our way to June 8th here. Big day, 3rd and final leg of the Triple Crown of the Belmont Stakes, 151st running, and expecting a tremendous field, including our Preakness winner, War of Will, who's going to be coming here, and so will Wood Memorial winner Tacitus, who was 3rd in the Kentucky Derby, moved up to 3rd via disqualification, and he was back on the work tab this morning for Bill Mott, who, of course, won this race back in 2010 with Drosselmeyer.
Who won your poll, by the way?
Well, it's interesting. The poll, I had a poll up on Twitter for the next day. If you want to vote on at Andy Serling, who you think would be favored, War of Will or Tacitus? And War of Will was winning, but looking at some English bookmaker sites, Tacitus is favored.
Yeah, he's favorite. And I think Tacitus will be favorite by post time.
I think he should be.
Because I just think he's been the Belmont horse. Everybody's been saying Tacitus is the Belmont horse. He's the Belmont horse. Even Bill Mott. And
he also ran extremely well in the Kentucky Derby, and I think that he just was taken too far back early in the race, and it lost all his position. And one of the things that Tacitus has going for him is that he has tactical speed, and he can be close enough, and he gave that up in the Derby, and it really eliminated his chances. And a race like the Belmont, a lot of times people say he's a Belmont horse, he's a deep closer. Those horses never win.
Never win.
Never win. The horses that win the Belmont are the horses that could be forwardly placed and have stamina, and he's got both.
And he got a rugged kind of education even going into the Kentucky Derby with that Wood Memorial he had. It's been such a crazy journey, even going back to last summer for Bill Mott in terms of who would be in the Derby picture for him. First we thought it was Mucho, then we thought Hidden Scroll, then we thought it was Tacitus, and then all of a sudden Country House moved up to via disqualification, wins it for him.
Insane.
Incredible. Let's check it again with Maggie Wolfendale.
And guys, Tacitus was my Derby horse, so I'm going to stick with him here in the Belmont. And watching his last few breezes here at Big Sandy, it seems as though this horse, who was notably not a morning glory, did not put in the best works in the morning, has somewhat turned a corner in his breezes, especially watching his one from this morning where he worked again with Multiplier. Yes, he set off behind him, then they worked kind of head and head, and it wasn't as if Jose had to really ask him to do that. And then when he did ask him past the wire, he blew by Multiplier in just a few strides. I mean, he was opening up by about 8 by the time they hit the mile 3/8 pole here at Belmont. And I just think this horse is really training well up to this effort in the Belmont as well. Now, a horse coming off a short rest and off of a claim here in today's 8th race is number 2, Turco Bravo. Reclaim here by Dave Canizzo. And last time, I thought he was moving really, really well on the track. He looked great. But a mile and a 16th is actually just a bit too short for him. Yes, there's only an extra half a furlong here, but he's been proven at a mile and 1/8 in the past. And I think it's kind of promising he comes back off short rest. And you look for horses to be carrying their weight, to have the same kind of energy off short rest, and he's done just that. So Turco Bravo, the old veteran, would love to see him get the win here at 10 years old as well. But Prompt, definitely, guys, is a deserved favorite.
Now, Turco Bravo, the 10-year-old. He actually won back-to-back runnings of the Stymie back in 2015, 2016, closing in on $900,000 in earnings, the two.
He's a very cool horse, and I'll tell you what, the longer they go, the better he is. The question is he good enough? It's a wise move by David Canizzo off the claim to put him in, even though he's theoretically over his head. He's going to control the pace.
Prompt from post 3. Can he follow up that big victory at Aqueduct with another win here at Belmont for Hall of Famer Bill Mott? Let's send it upstairs for the caller feature. Here's Larry Collmus.
Ready for the start. They're off, and a stumble at the break by Zulu will leave him at the back of the pack early on. Turco Bravo had the best beginning, and Prompt is away running in second. Royal Albert Hall is third. Zulu, who stumbled at the start, is moving up on the outside of horses and heading up toward the front runners now. G-Zap will be last early on, and there on the outside goes Zulu, already up and after the lead. So Zulu has made the front up the backstretch. That start could catch up to him later. He's on top a length and a half. Turco Bravo running in second. 24.88 was an easy opening quarter mile. Prompt is third and 4 from the front with G-Zap on the inside. And Royal Albert Hall is now last and 6 lengths off of front-running Zulu. Zulu up the backstretch in front. The lead is 2 lengths, with the venerable Turco Bravo sitting in second. And then it's Prompt on the outside of G-Zap past a 47.94 half mile. Royal Albert Hall, last of this quintet. 6 lengths from front-running Zulu, who races past the half-mile pole with a length and 3/4 lead on Turco Bravo. Prompt is third and still 4 from the front, G-Zap and Royal Albert Hall. Around the far turn they go. Zulu is the leader by 2. Turco Bravo comes under pressure. And now Junior Alvarado begins to prompt, who's moving 3 wide on the far turn. It's another 3 lengths more back to Royal Albert Hall and G-Zap. 3/4 and 1/12 flat. And they're into the stretch. Zulu has been taken on and passed now by both Prompt and Turco Bravo. And it is these two that will come to the 8th pole in front. And it is Prompt on top. Turco Bravo on the inside, back into second. And then it's Zulu and Royal Albert Hall on the outside. But as they pass the 16th pole, it is Prompt. Drifting out but clear, and Prompt is the winner. Turco Bravo was second, Royal Albert Hall was third, and Zulu was 4th.
Prompt impressive under Junior Alvarado, and Belmont back-to-back wins, and the old 10-year-old gets up for second.
An ultra-confident ride by Junior Alvarado. The others were in a drive, and he was just cruising around the turn. He was best, but a little love for the 10-year-old Turco Bravo, who tried his heart out and ran a very game second.
He really did. In between horses right here, you can see Prompt. He starts seeing him, and this is why he's a 10-year-old still on the racetrack, loving what he's doing.
Yep.
He makes Prompt work. He makes him work all the way to the wire. And we know that Royal Albert Hall has a nice late kick. I even said, like, he might run second here, but Turco Bravo hung in there.
Also, you know, Zulu, and we'll show it again, stumbled badly at the start.
Yeah.
And you wonder a little bit if it just sort of shook him up. And sometimes when they stumble like that, they kind of run off. And I think he ran off a little bit on Irad Ortiz, and that compromised Turco Bravo's best chance. His best chance was to wire the field.
Post 4, and yeah, goes to his knees immediately out of the gate, and as a result of that, rushes him up into the race, or maybe the horse just kind of takes off a little bit.
Sometimes that, you know, you try to get him in the gate, and the horse takes off a little bit, he's shaken up a little bit, and that happens. And he just kind of ran off. Obviously no chance after that. But it changed the race for Turco Bravo, because his best chance was to try to wire the field. He couldn't do that with him running. I think he ran a very good second here.
He did. 10 years old, man.
Yeah, he's a neat horse. He's been in different barns. There have been times his form's tailed off, and he's come back. He is just one
But that's
cool
the best part
racehorse.
about him. Look at his record the last 2 years, Andy. 5 races, hasn't missed the board, now 6. Last year, 9 races, he hit the board 6 out of 9.
This is
it's getting
50
better with
times
age.
in the money in 79 career starts. So about 63+% of the time he hits the board. And it's not like he doesn't win, because he's got 18 wins in 20 seconds now.
Crazy.
It's a great story.
Yep.
And Canizzo's claimed him, what, 3 times? He must be his favorite horse.
Oh, yeah, you see him show up
favorite horse today.
just in the last year and a half.
Yeah.
But this race about Prompt, this was impressive.
Yeah, it was.
He goes back-to-back for Belmont. Well, the prices when we come back. And we're going to take an inside look at Empire Racing Club, a way to get involved without risking the barn.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Mastery retired undefeated, winning his 4 starts by a combined 20 lengths. A 6-figure September sale purchase he won impressively in his 2-year-old debut at Santa Anita. From there, he captured the Grade 3 Bob Hope Stakes and completed his juvenile campaign with a dominant performance in the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Futurity. At 3, the top-rated son of Candy Ride sizzled in the San Felipe. Now his much-anticipated first crop arrives in 2019. Mastery, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Whether you have Derby dreams or midsummer Derby dreams, this is Tom Durkin to tell you a registered New York bred can take you there.
Diversify!
That New York bred Exact and the Whitney by multimillionaires Diversify and Mind Your Biscuits shows the kind of quality that allowed New York breds to earn more than $93 million on the world stage last year. On-track successes have spurred New York bred sales result. At the March OBS sale, Chestertown sold for $2 million. And this New York bred 2018 yearling brought $1 million at Saratoga. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
So my name is Robbie Herzl. I'm the yearling manager here at Claiborne Farm.
And we've got the first crop of Runhappies this year. Overall, I'm very, very pleased with them. So we have a colt out of Queen of America. He's really nice, looks just like his dad. Very pleased with how he's coming along. So there was a lot of demand for the weanlings last year. They sold for over 6 times their stud fee, and we're really excited for the yearlings to come through the sales, and we're expecting big things from them.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, and isn't it fitting that we have a son of a Claiborne stallion, Blame, taking today's featured 8th race, this one for a guy who trains for Claiborne Farm, Bill Mott, Hall of Famer here, and Prompt. Bill is a horse that, I don't want to compare him to the Great Cigar, but kind of the same look, as he's found a home on the main track.
Well, he has. I mean, we had him on the dirt, or on the turf, the first part of his career. His siblings are both turf horses. They run long, Newsdad, Patterson Cross. And so naturally I put him on the grass. It took me a while to figure out that he probably was better on the dirt. And but, you know, he's found a new home, and we'll take it as far as it goes.
I was going to say, and speaking of as far as it goes, do you think he's a horse that can handle distances like 1.25 miles, mile and a half at such races like the Suburban, or even more of the listed stakes like the Birdstone?
Yeah. I think he's a horse that we need to try in those races. I think he's shown us enough now. We've gotten through this other condition. We've won a few races with him, and I think it's time probably to step up and shop around for a race like that.
Well, there's one at 1.5 miles for 3-year-olds, and Tacitus prepping, put in a breeze today that, Bill, watching it was impressive. What did you think?
I thought it was very impressive. I mean, he was just clicking off 12s the whole way. I mean, he went in a minute, out 112, 124 and change. I mean, he just keeps ticking, and he keeps going. And to me, visually, it looked like he was doing it very easily. I mean, it looked like, you know, instead of going in a minute, it looked like he was going in 102, just the way he was traveling. He didn't look like he was under any stress to do it, and very comfortable. His company was good with him, and we dropped the company off at the wire, and we kept going out another 2 furlongs with him. Obviously, the distance of the Belmont is 1.5 miles, so we want to lengthen the works out a little bit.
Now, Bill, much was made before the Derby that he's not a great workhorse, but it almost feels as though after the Derby, at least watching him train here at Belmont, he's got to turn a corner as far as his morning training.
Right. I think he's probably improving. I think he's improved as he's gone along. He's improved with every race. He's improved a little bit with every work. I don't think he's a horse that wants to be rushed and sent off his feet, but once you find him, get him in that rhythm, it seems like once he finds that rhythm, he can just keep going and going. So that's what he's going to have to do for the Belmont. He's got to keep going, and it's a long race. It's built on speed and stamina, and hopefully he's got both.
Well, he's shown that he has. Wishing you the best of luck. I know a lot of people like him going into the Belmont, and congrats here with Prompt.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Well, it is the test of the champion. It's called that for a reason. Requires everything you have: speed, stamina, endurance, and we'll see if Tacitus is up to it on June the 8th in the Belmont Stakes.
He's gonna be the favorite. I really do. I understand War Will, and I think War Will be dangerous because of the field, because he has tactical speed, and like we said, you got to be up close. But you know, he's running both races now, and that has a lot to do with it too. Now Tacitus is going to be fresh. He's in his backyard. He's going to be a handful.
The only thing that scares me about Tacitus is he looks too good to me. I honestly think that he is a virtual cinch to win this race.
Right.
Big edge, so as you talked about. So being able to sit out the middle leg of the Triple Crown, that's going to work against War Will, and to come in a fresh horse for Tacitus, big edge.
How many Tappets have we seen win the Belmont Stakes?
Yeah.
Like
I
3
mean,
or 4, yeah.
so you know he's going to like the distance. He's not going to be far out of it. I mean, he's not as naturally fast as War of Will, but he's not slow.
He's not. So it could be cold. Like, I understand, like, I'm going to play against War of Will in Belmont, and I know how talented he is. I really do.
That's worked well for me lately.
And I get it. I actually got him home in the Preakness, but I think he's so much more talented than the other horses that are part of that group. I have a feeling it's going to be ice-cold Tacitus over him.
I'm going to tell you, I think Tacitus has a chance to be 3-year-old champion by the time the year is up. I really do. And the fact that Maximum Security wants to sit in the barn and running grade 3s and not running the races
he's
that
pointing
matter.
to the Haskell.
He should be running in the Belmont Stakes, not running in the Long Branch a week later. It's preposterous, and it's not good for the game. I think that Tacitus is going to have that advantage on him when he wins this race, because he'll have a Triple Crown win, and Maximum Security may have finished first, but he doesn't have a Triple Crown win, and that's going to matter at the end of the year.
Back in the 8th, our feature here, and it looks like, or sounds like, I should say, Belmont thinking he wants a date with Catholic boy here for prompt.
Ooh,
that is a big step up.
That's a huge step up. The son of
dinner or
Lane?
a race?
Suburban July 6th, it sounded like. From the interview with Maggie.
Pulpit Mare Storm Tracer.
You got to find out where they belong.
Yeah.
And if he runs in there and he's not good enough, then he can find lesser races throughout the country. But sometimes you got to put up and find out where you belong.
Here's the NYRA Bets late pick 5 follow along. 70,000 plus in the pool. Dynamax Prime to open this thing up. And we got one leg remaining. And we talked about this at the top of the show. I thought most of us agreed this final race was the most wide open race in the sequence.
Yes, it is. And the payoffs are pretty good considering we got chalk in the first race. So.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the 7 horse is getting bet here, so he's probably pretty live here. You got a first-time star. And the interesting thing about the 7 Cyber Currency is if you watch his 2-year-old sales work, it wasn't particularly impressive. He went 10 2/5. It's not as though his pedigree, at least on the first family, is particularly strong. It's a golden cents for $290,000. So there was something to like about this horse. Taken a while, obviously, to get the races, but if he gets bet, probably means they like the horse.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back. We'll have the nightcap coming up. When we return, experience the thrill of racing as an owner. A way to get involved without breaking the bank. Tom Durkin shares that story when we come back.
This is a colt by Runhappy out of Addison Run. We bred here at Montfort Hall. Well, he's a big, strong, good bone, big old hip on him. Moves really well, has that kind of big cat-like walk when he just relaxes and gets rolling up and down the lane.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farms.
This successful son of A.P. Indy has sired 6 millionaires, including Eclipse champion West Coast. This year, Flatter is adding even more stakes winners to his outstanding record at stud. In the auction ring, Flatter topped the 2018 Fasig-Tipton July sale with a $520,000 yearling. And this year, his juveniles have sold up to $375,000. Success on the track, success in the ring. Flatter, standing at Claiborne Farm.
We're back on America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing, the go-to site covering the sport and lifestyle. Visit americasbestracing.net today. Once reserved for the supremely wealthy in society, today horse racing ownership can happen for just about anybody. Can get involved and experience the thrill of the sport from an entirely different perspective. Here's the former voice of New York racing, Tom Durkin, with one such opportunity right here in the state of New York.
My name is Tom Durkin. I used to work across the street here for a long time calling races. I'm now retired. And among the number of things that I do is work for the New York Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association. I'm on the board. And New York Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association, NYTHA, is now sponsoring the Empire Racing Club. And this is our first horse, as yet unnamed, and she's a beautiful filly. And I'm the managing partner of Empire Racing Club. And doesn't necessarily mean that I'm managing everything, because we have a guy named Todd Pletcher that will be actually managing the future of this beautiful filly, and she is a very pretty horse.
Well, I'm really excited about the Empire Racing Club. You know, it's a potential to bring new owners to the business, have people come out, get to see what world-class racing's like at Belmont, Saratoga, and Aqueduct. So, you know, I'm really enthusiastic for anything that's going to bring new people to the industry, and for them to be able to participate in ownership of a horse that can run at these type of tracks is super for the industry.
The object of the club is to have people experience the experience of being a thoroughbred owner without the expense. The initial fee, and the only fee, is $500. Now for that, if you're not a member, by the way, of the horse racing, the NYRA Bets, if you're not already a member there, have an account, you get $200 free bets to start out. Now, at the end of the day, you're not going to make any money on it because it's a social club, basically, and it's a 501c. So it's just to have that opportunity, get in the backstretch, know what it is to be an owner. We'll have various activities throughout the year surrounding our filly, and it's just basically to have fun.
Tom's a lot of fun and great spokesman for the business, and I think he'll add a lot of excitement and fun for the members of the club.
So we're having a contest to name the horse. You go to the website and submit your name.
She's a 2-year-old filly that was bred by Spendthrift, by Can the Man. Attractive, racy-looking filly that we anticipate might make her first start at Saratoga.
So as I say in so many spots these days, go to nytha.com, NYTHA.com, and there's also the information you're going to need about Empire Racing Club.
Well, that's a tremendous opportunity. It just takes $500 to get involved, gives you a little bit of a taste of being an owner and a chance to watch a horse that you might have a part of run at Saratoga. That's everybody's dream.
Well, I mean, Churchill Downs did it and had a huge amount of
Yeah,
success.
got in the Kentucky Derby
with Wayne Lucas. That horse for Wayne won at Saratoga, I think, a couple years ago. Finished second in stakes. I think has won a stake, has won a lot of money. So you can get lucky.
And you get some of the good stories from Tom Durkin. He loves to tell his stories. He loves to do race calls as well. So he's such a great guy too. He does tours at the Hall of Fame still. So. He's just so active in it, and then you get a guy like that you can be sitting next to watching the races. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's a big part of it, the social aspect as well. So Empire Racing Club, great opportunity to kind of dip your toe into what it's like to be an owner in this game. 9th at Belmont, the finale on our card, 6.5 furlongs. It's New York breds. Maiden special weight, the first-time starter for Chad Brown, Klarovich Stables. Cyber Currency, the current favorite. Let's head downstairs for Paddock Report to Maggie Wolfendale.
Thank you, Greg. And we'll check in with that current favorite in number 7, Cyber Currency. Just to kind of re-echo what Andy was saying, I mean, this horse did not work impressively at the OBS March, so going back to last year. 10-2, yeah, not much urging, kind of carried his head up and to the right a bit, but he is, as a physical, beautiful. He's beautifully balanced. He's got a lot of scope. He's got that long neck that you look for in horses. It's taken him a while to get to the races, though. He does look very well prepared. And watching his last breeze, at least here at Belmont, he worked with a horse by the name of Ahead of Plan, who was actually coming back off of a long layoff. Assumably, he was a well-bet and well-meant firster up at Saratoga, who just got ran down by Endorsed. He wasn't going, Cyber Currency wasn't going quite as well as his workmate, but still, they were both well in hand to go a minute flat. So that's a decent work coming in here. The only thing I worry about with this horse, the only thing I can say that leaves some questions in my mind is 6.5 furlongs going to be too short for him? He may eventually want to go a bit longer than this. Now, there's a duo of second-time starters that might get some attention on the tote board, including number 6%, who will make his first start against New York breds. His son is Central Banker, will also go out for Brad Cox for the first time. And he did pretty much no running, in my opinion, going back to that Fairgrounds race. But that was on a muddy seal track. He gets a fast one here today. Look, he looks fine. I actually like him more with the tack on. He kind of came alive a bit and puffed himself up. But still, he's kind of long and narrow, and to me just looks as though he wants to go farther than this. Now, Brad can put some speed into his horses, but he certainly didn't have any of it at first asking. Does come in here extremely fit, though, off a little bit of a break. Speaking of breaks, number 9, 7 is Heaven, is coming off a 1-2. Now, he's the one I prefer, as I'm sure the guys will talk about this horse. Had to stand in the gate quite a while, got off a little bit tardily, shuffled back. It was not an ideal trip, and plus he just seemed a bit green in amongst horses and down on the inside. The blinkers do go on a short cup on this runner, who returns to the races for Linda Rice, appearing very sharp and very keen. So I would think that he is a horse that should have a bit more speed than that first race should suggest. Very strong behind the saddle, really well muscled, big, good-looking type too. So I like what I'm seeing from 7 is Heaven. Greg?
Maggie, thanks. You saw 7 is Heaven's trainer, Linda Rice, talking a little strategy there with Irad Ortiz Jr. going into this nightcap. And yeah, certainly hoping for a better trip today.
Yeah, and it wasn't a good trip. Just so many different issues that this horse had. First of all, out of the gate, doesn't break great at all, and is basically taken all the way back to last.
What's going to happen here is she's inside of horses in the orange right there, the 2 horse. The horse in front of her, the 5, is steadying, and it completely and totally shuffles her out of the race. And she's really on that horse's rear end and just got completely taken out of the race. Now, Dylan Davis is riding her, and it just feels as though, or him, excuse me, he wants to kind of get this horse outside, but I actually think that maybe Seven Heaven is sort of lugging in on him. He doesn't know what he can do with him, and you're going to see he sort of threads the needle down the inside, and he's still in last. You're going to see him come through a very, very narrow opening on the inside, and still in the stretch, he has to angle out. He gets caught in traffic a couple of times. You'll see him again, and he's still in trouble the whole way in finishing. This was not a particularly strong race, but this was a very strong performance by Seven is Heaven under unbelievably difficult circumstances.
He never really sits down and rides her or hits her till right there, hits him. And he's finishing on well. The winner, wow, looks like Usain Bolt. Who was that? Right? But no, that's a great bet. That's a great
kinds of trouble. I mean, zero chance after being shuffled back like that. So we'll see what happens here. Second time out for the son of Posse here with a cleaner trip. And you get Irad Ortiz Jr. to boot.
Yeah, and they're betting the 7, the first time starter for Chad Brown, just because, listen, they paid $290,000 for a horse that Jose is aboard, and I would think first time Lasix.
Well, let me touch a couple of things. First of all, Linda Rice has tremendous numbers, second-time starters as well. So there's more than just that with Seven is Heaven. Even off layoffs, this horse has been out 4 months. But Maggie touched on Cyber Currency, having worked with Ahead of Plan. Ahead of Plan was an extraordinarily highly touted 2-year-old that cost almost $500,000 a big drama off a 2-year-old sales work at Saratoga and lost to a very good Godolphin Kieran horse in one of our tough maiden races up there. He has not been out since. He's pointing, obviously, for a race if he's working with this horse. A horse like Ahead of Plan, an open horse, this New York bred race, would be 2 to 5 in a race like this. And if this horse can work with him and hold his own at all, that's a scary proposition. Oh, he did. Now, workouts can be a little deceiving. You don't know exactly. But the fact that even Chad Brown would pair these 2 horses together, he could be too good for these horses, even if Seven is Heaven runs his good race.
You think if Tacitus wins the Belmont, they'll show that Hidden Scroll Tacitus work?
Yeah, Hidden Scroll was not even moving. Tacitus was all out, but couldn't get anywhere near Hidden Scroll in workouts.
I still think Hidden Scroll, who's obviously gone the wrong way, his race in the Fountain of Youth might be the best race I've seen by any 3-year-old all year.
We still could hear more from
I don't want to just mock Hidden Scroll.
But that just shows you about workouts.
No, absolutely. You have to be careful, and we don't know. But I think there's a good chance. I'm not saying he's better than Ahead of Plan, but he might not have to be even 3 or 4 lengths nearly as good as Ahead of Plan to be competitive here and win.
The scary horse in here is the 6, because it's Brad Cox and it's a central banker. We've been seeing these central bankers run on the turf, Andy, and this horse had no shot first time out.
Well, Central Banker's a better dirt sire, and he's had a lot of success. The thing about 6% is he was in a different barn. Now he switches to Brad Cox, but also when he ran at Fairgrounds, not only to catch a muddy track, he's running against open horses in a $43,000 race, knowing he can come to New York and run against New York breds for a purse that's 50% higher. Which race are they really thinking about getting the money? This is a very interesting alternative. I agree.
Open maidens to New York bred maiden company. We start with Like the Posse, Jose Lizcano for Charlie Baker.
He has had his chances. At one time, he was good enough to compete. His recent form, not great.
Deputy Flag, Tom Morley, Junior Alvarado.
Maybe the horse to catch in here. We'll see if Junior sends. Tom Morley's having a good meet so far.
And jump ahead to the 4 here. Bassman Dave, blinkers on. I thought a player here.
Yeah, I thought so too. He's run good 3 solid races, so that puts him in the mix, 8-1.
5-horse first-timer for Robbie Davis with a bullet drill coming in.
This horse actually is a 0.5-to-1 good turf horse. We'll see if he handles the dirt.
Eric Consell will be aboard. Here's the 6%. And this is the big dropper coming in from Fairgrounds for Brad Cox.
Yeah, and you also get Javier Castellano. So a lot of pluses here and looks well. And you're getting a good price at 6-1.
7-horse. Here's the firster for Chad Brown, Cyber Currency.
Taking the money, working well. Could very much be tough in here.
2-1 favorite. The 8 Papa Jim for Jeffrey Engelhart beat a half length at this level last start in the slop.
Well, yeah, it was unlucky. Got left, ran on. Actually was the best that day, but this race is going to have to step up a tiny bit.
Horse that we showed you with that horrific trip in the debut for Linda Rice. Blinkers on today. 7 is Heaven.
Easy to follow those Orange Silks, the second-time starter for Linda that had a great deal of trouble first time out.
Here's the 10. Bears Mafia, Bruce Levine, Kendrick Carmouche.
Yeah, almost broke her his maiden 2 back, and then caught a sloppy racetrack as your 3-1 second choice that day. So 6-1 today.
And Big Patty Brown, turf to dirt, 34-1.
If you're alive with him, you used all.
You did.
And here's the 3, a first-timer for the James
And you
Bond
used this one
barn,
too?
Mr. Bobby.
Getting
Not a
played
lot in the
bit.
way of pedigree from the dam side of homebred.
Getting played a little bit, though, right?
Very little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, very
just
little
a
bit.
touch.
21 morning lines usually don't
Smidge.
get bit down that
There's
much,
still
yeah.
2 minutes left
Yeah,
unless they
true.
move post time again.
True.
We are back on tomorrow. We hope to see you. And we also have a cross-country pick 5 on Memorial Day. Begins at 4:12 Eastern Time with the 6 from Belmont Park. It includes the Critical Eye, stakes action in New York, the Mike Lee, another stakes race. Stakes race at Lone Star. I believe we have Jonathan Kinchen live on site as well. And then we have a commentator to close it out. Race 10 here at Belmont. Tremendous card. Tremendous cross-country pick 5
Love
you want to be
those
part
days.
of.
11
Love those.
races. 11 races tomorrow. Don't forget about that.
Love the
11.
New York Breds.
Love it, too. It's a good addition of the Mike Lee is going to be a very, very good race. I think that's a very competitive field. And the commentators, a really good race. Only 7, but I think you can make a case for 6 of them.
All right, let's check in with Maggie here on the Nightcap.
Well, Greg, as you guys alluded to, moving up post time by 2 minutes, so it looks as though there might be a storm heading this way. As number 6, 6%, I didn't like him much at all when he first walked in the paddock, and never in the amount of 10 minutes have I changed my opinion about a horse. Literally, once he got the tack on and Javier on his back, he just came alive. I followed him out the tunnel, and he's going and he just really turned it on, and he looked so much better under tack than what he did without it. So he moved up, certainly in my book, though number 9, 7 is Heaven is going to be my pick. Now, number 8, Papa Jim, I thought Paul, brought up some excuses with him. Another excuse I found interesting is that this is going to be the first time, or the second time, that this horse has been sprinting on a fast track. And I just feel as though he's been improving physically as well, and he's kind of mentally matured. He used to get really wound up before his races, and today he was a little bit more even keel, and I like that. Yes, this is probably a different quality field, but look for him to be one that maybe mixes into the exotics. Greg?
Maggie, thank you for that. Favorite remains the first-time starter for Chad Brown. Cyber Currency, $290,000. Son of Golden Cents out of a Speightstown mare. Caribbean Lady.
I would think that he's gonna be fast. That's just the bottom line.
Got to be one of the most expensive Golden Cents sold,
Yeah.
right? You have too many over
He
300,000.
was fast, freaky
Very
fast,
nice horse.
wasn't
No,
he?
he was a super talented horse.
Really
Absolutely.
was. It's
Ran
gonna be
some
very interesting
big
with,
races.
because this is a race that I thought this is a salty little New York
Second
bred
in the
race.
Met Mile to Palace Malice.
Yeah, and he opened up that field. They beat the rest of that field by about 7 or 8 lengths, did they not?
One of my favorite horses, I believe, was Romance third in there. Might have been.
Might have been, yeah.
There's the first. You just saw the 7 stepping in this year's Med Mile. Whew! It's going to be tremendous.
It's going to be a great race on a great day of racing.
It is.
That whole day, that whole festival, the 6th through the 8th of June, going to be tremendous. And we know what Frenzy Fire is done here at a mile. What will happen in the Nightcap? Can the first-time starter perform for trainer Chad Brown, Klarovich Stables, with Jose Ortiz aboard? He will break from post 7 for the debut. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York racing. For the call, Larry Collmus.
Last couple moving into line here. Dancers for token in the starting gate. We're just waiting for Big Patty Brown to join the rest of the group that are in line here. Big Patty Brown and Rajiv Mirage have made their way up toward the starting gate, as Cyber Currency is a 2-to-1 choice at this stage. And here comes Big Patty Brown. And they're all in line. They're off, and Cyber Currency walked out of there. Last early on. It's Deputy Flag on the inside, up and after the early lead, with Papa Jim away running in second position. Bassman Dave came out in third as they head up the backstretch. And then comes Light the Posse toward the inside. Farther out is Bears Mafia. A length and a half more to 7 is Heaven. And then back to 6% on the inside of Cyber Currency, who's gone by 3 rivals already. Mr. Bobby is next, and then Dancers for Token and Big Patty Brown at the back of the pack. 22.48 was that opening quarter mile as they make their way around the far turn. And it is Deputy Flag and Papa Jim, and the two of them are matching strides on the lead. 2 lengths ahead of Bassman Dave, who's third just in behind them. Bears Mafia's fourth on the outside by another 2. And then it's Like the Posse and 7 is Heaven. 45.24 was the half. They're into the stretch. It is Papa Jim on the outside, resting a short lead here from Deputy Flag. Competition is coming, though. Here's Light the Posse closing on the outside. Light the Posse charging up. And 6% trying to squeeze through an opening in behind horses as Light the Posse strikes the front coming past the final 16th. Light the Posse and a late move from 6% for second. Light the Posse to win, 6% second. Papa Jim was third. 7 is Heaven is fourth.
Light the Posse, Jose Lezcano, 23-1, one of the biggest prices on the board.
The 2 leading jockeys basically at the meet run 1-2, not the leading jockeys, but Jose Lezcano's just on some kind of tear right now. And I want you to watch the replay here. 6% in Javier Castellano. I don't know if there was any room to go up the rail or not, but he starts to really start rolling here late.
He should have won.
Probably should have won the race, but you can't take anything away from the winner because the one, Light the Posse, takes the overland route way on the outside, too deep. Look at the 6 on the rail, just loaded with run. And Javier doesn't know whether to go inside. I don't know why he didn't split inside right here.
No, it's tough. You want to rally outside a horse. It's a tough situation. Obviously, 6% probably should have won. The firster got badly left in your Cyber Currency. I don't know where Light the Posse. I mean, this is a horse that was good in the beginning of his career. His last 3 races have been utterly abysmal. And I said having bet him 2 races back.
He was favored at Saratoga last summer.
He has been awful, but he completely turned his form around. He had form that could give him a chance in this race, just not recently. 6% should have won.
Yeah.
7 is Heaven. He ran a little bit in spots. I don't know. He didn't run well.
Lezcano, this shows you Lezcano's on fire. He's pushing all the right buttons, and like, you put him on a 23-1 shot, and I'm sure people were thinking, okay, let's throw him in here. And this is a nice little time for these horses.
We saw him smiling in the paddock. Maybe he was trying to tell us something.
He had 4 wins the other day, 2 more today. Oof, he is lighting it up.
23-1. 1-6-8-9 finish. Charlie Baker turns this form around on this 4-year-old son of Posse.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. One time he could have been a player in this race, but his recent form, 23-1's an underlay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what to say.
Lights out to close this thing out.
Sure.
We have a great card tomorrow. We've talked about it on Memorial Day. Included in the stakes action, we're going to bring you here from Belmont, the commentator, and a loaded field. Pat on the back, one of the big players in this race who loves it at Belmont.
That commentator is a race worthy of the name of commentator who is a tremendous racehorse, arguably the most talented New York bred of all time. Pat in the back, all he does is win.
You're right. It's just the bottom line. He's just the type of horse that you love. He's a human ATM or equine ATM, and he loves Belmont. 9 for 9 in the money, 4 wins, 3 seconds, 2/3, and he's going to be tough to handle here. He needs some pace, but he's going to get pace in here from Hall Anchor. Mr. Buff is very quick. Honor Up might get a good trip. This is a very, very good field in here.
There really isn't a weak link in the race.
There
is not a weak link.
You can even say giant expectations. Control Group is on the outside, but he even has a race that can win. He has a race that would win this
Control
race.
Group's the one horse whose form has eluded him in the last year or
Syndergaard
so.
would be the other outsider, too, because I don't really know if he wants to go
It's
that
a great
far
field.
with these
Play a
horses.
nose at a mile.
I have issues with you, Andy.
What?
All he does is win. When he got beat by a neck, I needed him, singled him for 90,000. Here's Syndergaard, another player in this race.
Greg.
John Terranova. He's coming out of, of a third in the affirmed success behind Pat on the back.
You got to watch the one Honor Up because he actually wins this race. And what the point was that he got badly left in this race. And not only did he get badly left, he ended up making a premature move because he got badly left. He makes the front. He gets a little leg weary late, and Syndergaard will almost catch him in this race. He's a horse in front right now. Syndergaard almost gets him, but Honor Up ran a remarkable race considering he got left in there. And he's done nothing wrong on
Off that Carter, don't you think he should be?
Yes.
I mean, you can make the argument he's the favorite.
Yes.
Well, he was on a very slow pace in the Carter, which helped him. he runs his race, he can absolutely win. I'm not denying it.
Yeah.
He's one of the big players. I'm not going to be shocked if he's the favorite.
Meanwhile, giant expectations. Peter Urton shipping this one from Oaklawn in and making an equipment change for Monday with blinkers going on.
And cutting back to 1 turn. He finally actually didn't get left last time out. I think the cut back to 1 turn is going to suit him well. And some will say, well, he's also finding easier company with New York breds. I don't know. I think there's a few New York breds in this race that could have won that Oaklawn handicap.
4-time winner. He's 2 for 2 at Belmont. We know he loves it here. Can he keep it going? Well, it's a wide open group. You can make a case for just about everybody in this field.
Yeah, they were maiden race and a non-winners of 1. It's tougher. And
it's okay.
I think it was a sloppy track for both those races. I could be wrong. I know at least one of them. They were like a week apart, as a matter of fact.
But he's proven on a big stage that he can
hang
hang with these type of horses. Absolutely.
I picked him on top.
Light the posse. How about 48.80 to close out the card on this Sunday afternoon? Wow. NYRA Bets, late pick 5. Comes back $5,400 as we take a look at the follow-along.
Takes one. Listen to me. Favorite, 7-2 on the morning line, 7-2 on the morning line, probably the most singled horse. You get one horse that lights it up and happens to be, no pun intended, light up the posse. You get $5,400 for $48. That's crazy.
Pretty incredible. It is a must play. You got a couple options. You can play it again tomorrow. Also, we have the cross-country pick 5, so you got to spread your money out a little bit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good action tomorrow.
Yeah, there's a lot of great action tomorrow.
Gotta join us. We have a tremendous show tomorrow on MSG Plus. We are back 4 to 6:30, and that commentator is going to be how we close out our show. So we got with a bang on Memorial Day weekend. So we certainly hope you join us. We will see you tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed our show here this afternoon. It's been a great weekend of racing. We just beat the rains today too. Right after that horse crossed the wire in that last race, rain started to come down. But I believe we have tremendous weather for tomorrow, so we look forward to it. And we will see you again, 4 to 6:30 tomorrow on Memorial Day. Churchill Downs action. Thank Gary Stevens for providing us live on-site coverage out there. It was prompt going back-to-back here at Belmont Park for Hall of Famer Belmont. We will see you on Memorial Day again at 4 Eastern time. Take care.
This proven son of Giants Causeway has sired 4 millionaires, including Claiborne Farm stallion Lee. Recent top runners include Cutting Humor, winner of the Grade 3 Sunland Park Derby, plus 3-time graded stakes winner Sharp Samurai, and international star Shamal Nibras. This year, his 2-year-olds have brought prices up to $310,000. First Samurai, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Runhappy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and NYRA Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With NYRA Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the NYRA Bets app or visit NYRABets.com. Sign up for a $200 new member bonus with promo code SPRING19 at NYRABets.com.